Hello and welcome everyone. I am so excited to have you here with me today despite the current situation and the unfortunate necessity for this topic right now. Today's training is something that I've been sharing with my clients and my audience for at least the last 5 years, and the content and message is very, very close to my heart. I really do care a lot about entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship, but what I really care about more is seeing people discover how to pivot in this current situation. And really, I love the idea of having that Mindset Monday, and really just having that support and that community. I'm definitely going to be jumping in there. And today, this is what we're talking about, is really how to get our businesses prepared for online selling and really the why behind it. And I'm going to be sharing a few different stats with you about online selling in case you're brand new to it. And then I'm going to also be sharing with you how you can utilize tools like Zoom, how you can, or which platform to choose for your business, and really create a plan today to move forward. So whether or not you decide to go forward, I primarily work with Shopify. Whether you choose Shopify or not, we're going to go over a lot of different options to have our businesses continue to be successful. Uh, that's what we're here for, and that's it. So let's get started. Essentially, the truth right now is that the current situation with COVID-19 is something that is globally impacting businesses. It's impacting business owners and employees. And there's not a single person right now who isn't directly impacted personally or financially. So really, this webinar is designed to have you not only discover some amazing tools, discover how to expand your business online, but come out with a plan that you can start implementing today. First, before we begin, I want to not only thank you for spending this time with me and Teresa and the BACD, but I really want to acknowledge you for being here. I acknowledge each of you, whether you watch this live or if you watch this as a replay, for being open. Because I know if you're here, you're someone who is open to learning something new. And this might be learning something new that you have no idea how to tackle. So I really do acknowledge you for that. I acknowledge you for being someone who is also open to creating freedom in your business in a very uncertain time, and for being bold in the face of so many opinions on selling right now, to really see where opportunities may lie for your business, your community, and of course your family. And lastly, I acknowledge you for championing new ideas. So even if you take one new action today, you will change the projection of your business, and that is really brave. So now that that's out of the way, here's what I invite you to take on inside of this training. I really, really would love for the next 60 minutes if you took on giving up whatever preconceived notions you have about your business, on your industry, and on yourself as a business owner. I really want you to give up and give up what you think your business is supposed to look like, what you've been told or what you've been taught about what business is supposed to look like, what businesses do and do not do, because we are in a brand new time right now. And I really want you to try on something that you may have never done before today, and by the end of this training, make a decision. If online selling isn't for your business, that's totally fine, but see what else lands and be that bold champion for new ideas. A lot of what we'll be talking about today is how to stand out as the leader in your industry, whatever it is. I also ask that you don't go the easy route and hide out. My guess is if you're here, you're not someone who does that, so just keep going forward. And I invite you to get prepared for the next 60 minutes and play full out. Really take this on 100%. So lock yourself away, shut the door, tell the people you're, in isolation with, or, if it's your pet, that this is really important, that you are creating a plan to grow and blow up your business. And yes, it is that serious. So with that in the background, let's get going. So there's a few things that we know right now. We know that life has changed drastically very quickly in only a few short weeks. I will say I went on a vacation. I've been in travel quarantine. I just actually ended that, but When I left, it was kind of just the coronavirus is this thing that we were hearing about. And when I came back, it was you're in isolation. Do you feel sick? So things really changed very quickly. We also know that life isn't going back to normal anytime soon. We know that our businesses and our families, our friends, and our colleagues are all impacted. And this makes people very sensitive. And we know that we might be sensitive right now. So we know that our language and our messaging matters more now than more than ever right now. So if we're showing up as leaders, our messaging really matters. We know that this is not business as usual. And we know that we don't want to live in survival mode anymore. And I know that, and I know that you don't want to live in survival mode anymore because you're here. And you being here tells me that you are open to adapting, growing, and evolving your business, even if you might not know what that even looks like right now. So, who am I? Some of you may know me, some of you may not, but I'll just give you a brief rundown on who I am so you understand why this is such a huge deal to me. So, my name is Melissa. I live in Oshawa, and I have been an entrepreneur for as long as I can remember. My entire family is filled with entrepreneurs. I grew up with my mom being a home-based business. My dad ran a home-based business. My sister runs one now. My grandpa, my uncles, my aunts, and on and on and on. Both sides of my family. My first real business, I'll say my first real business because the first one where I actually took a payment, was offering art lessons to other kids when I was in high school. And then I also simultaneously ran a painting business where I would go to the mall, the Oshawa Center. I would buy Converse paints or Converse shoes. I would paint on them and then I would sell them to my fellow classmates and then online. So back in 2006 and 7, when Facebook was brand new, I was running an online business, which I didn't even really realize until I was putting this together. So, I've run in my past a tattoo studio, my pet portrait business. So I've always really had this combination of art, entrepreneurship, and teaching or training as something that really lights me up. And I found, what really got me to where I am now is learning how much I love supporting other entrepreneurs and discovering their power as leaders. As discovering their power as leaders in their specific industry and then helping them share that with the world. So I first saw this, I used to work for Shopify, which we're going to be talking a lot about today, which is an e-commerce platform if you don't know what it is. And one of the very first people who I spoke to when I worked for Shopify was this woman who was extremely talented. She was an artist. She used to paint on glass, and her business was not making any money. She just really didn't know where it was going. She thought she was going to have to close her store down. And, there were thousands of people who did my job at Shopify, and somehow I always spoke to her at least once a week. So she called Shopify a lot. And, we were really just discovering together what did she love to do? And she realized just through our conversations that she really actually loved to teach people how to paint on glass and how to create, their own, not stained glass, but painted glass art. And she was extremely talented. And she actually went ahead and started creating trainings on how to do different designs, how to basically like paint night, but online. So she took this idea and she just ran with it, and she really discovered where her people were online, and she started selling like crazy. And what she ended up doing was every single painting that she would use in one of her trainings, she would then sell on her website, and 50% of the proceeds would go to a different charity. So she really, really, really exploded. And it was just, her discovering how she was a leader in her industry. So this led me to leave Shopify because I realized that I could help more people as an entrepreneur myself. And I started creating Shopify websites. And I worked mainly with artisans and artists to get their businesses up and running quickly and take them to that next level through being really creative in their marketing. Now, I'm not a marketing expert. I will just say that right now. But I have witnessed that when you stand up as a leader in an industry and you focus on not only what you're really good at, but what you love to do, and then you start doing things that other people are either too scared to do or don't want to do, you start to make waves, you start to get found, and that's how you start to get followed. So this is something that I'm constantly learning myself, but it is something that I wanted to just touch on today. So right now, let's dive into the meat and potatoes of this training because that is why you're here. So why would we want to get into online selling? I think it's pretty clear that we all know that e-commerce is the future of selling, of retail in particular. And most, if not all of us, have made an online purchase before. And even if you haven't, because maybe some of you haven't, you definitely know someone who prefers online shopping to going out and buying things. Currently, that's pretty much all we can do in a lot of situations. So this is why right now, especially, this is so critical. I wanted to just share with you a few stats on and give you an idea of the future of selling, to give you another idea of why it's critical to carve out your own online space. So these stats that I'm going to share with you are from Shopify. So in 2019, online sales totaled $3.5 trillion. And projections for 2020 is that that number is going to increase to $4.1 trillion in online sales. And that's including what's going on right now. So that number is drastically increasing. And in terms of us as Canadians, we actually hold $44 billion worth of that 2019 stat. So that number for us as Canadians is only going to grow and increase. And especially right now with everything going on, I think that number is going to actually just be even higher. So keep in mind that right now is such a huge opportunity to get ourselves online. So not only are those some really massive numbers that are hard to even fathom, but they also give an insight into the ways e-commerce platforms like Shopify see the future of online selling. There are technologies being developed and utilized right now to increase these numbers, and Shopify really is at the forefront of these technologies and advancements. Now, bonus, Shopify is also Canadian, so this is also why it's really cool. I don't have a stat for that, but I thought that's really cool. So, for example, one of the major factors that gets in the way for most people shopping online and completing a purchase include not being able to see scale. So if you consider purchasing artwork online, it can be difficult to see just based on measurements in a product description whether or not something is going to fit on a wall space, for example, whether it's going to look nice with your other decor, and just in general if you would like it. So this is where technology is really coming in to bridge that gap. So with AR, which stands for augmented reality technology, online store owners will soon be able to digitally see how something will fit in their space. So if you have kids, you probably know about Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go uses AR, augmented reality, to put Pokemon in your real life through your phone. So the same thing is going to happen with online shopping. So as you can see in these photos here, the one on the right is how augmented reality will work. So you could, as you can see down here, adjust this, change the size of the picture, and then see what it will look like on your in your house, on your wall. So it's pretty cool. So if you were trying to fit something in here, you really need to have something like this to see if it will work for you. So this isn't just with, artwork, but it's also with, things like being able to try on clothing. So imagine that you were actually able to try on clothes right from your home without needing to leave your house. So for some people, this might sound scary, but this is the future of selling. You'll actually be able to, use augmented reality to try on clothing. Virtual reality as well is something else. They're building virtual stores, and Shopify is really, really working on this to be the first e-commerce platform to offer this. So sounds a little futuristic, but it's really not that far down the road. So this is why you can really leverage both in-person and online selling together. I think it's super futuristic and crazy, but it's very neat as well. So now that we understand why to start selling online, let's go over how. So how do we do this? The first thing is to understand that we are going to need some serious tools in our back pocket to manage, staff and teams, to communicate with our customers. And obviously we need to create a plan today to get started or get moving if you already have an online store. You might already have, let's say, a Squarespace website with e-commerce built into it, but it's not moving anywhere. So we really need to utilize that plan and create that today. So everything that we're going to be looking at today is based on this current environment we're living in, with being isolated, of course. So we are going to touch on looking at tools to make remote or online work easier. We're going to look at the best platforms, their pricing, and how to utilize them for different businesses. We're going to create an action plan to implement these different tools and platforms today. We're going to look at how to serve your audience right now. And at the end of this, we're going to go over 3 different case studies with 3 different business models and show you how they could get online quickly. So first, we're going to look at different tools to either work remotely or online in this current reality we're in, but keep communication, connection, and organization a top priority, whether you have a team of 200 or it's just you running your business. So really, with teams and communication, being able to connect with your team right now is absolutely critical. Whether you have staff or you have business partners or you have contractors even, it's so imperative to just see where people are right now and check in with them. So I'm going to be sharing 2 tools that I believe you cannot live without right now. So the first one is Zoom. This is the best photo I could get. My husband wasn't participating, but there he is. Obviously, you've heard of Zoom by now. You're on it right now. But you may not know all of the features that it currently has, the pricing and the different things that you can utilize it for to keep your team or your staff in communication. These are also things you can do with your family, so I'm going to cover that as well. So if you don't know what Zoom is fully, if this is your first experience with Zoom, it allows you to video conference with anyone, anywhere in the world, and has so many features for free, which make it a really great option for connecting with your team and keeping communications organized and simple. Now, I prefer Zoom over Skype. So if you've heard of Skype, I prefer Zoom because it has a much more reliable connection and it's just overall easier to use, connect with, and share. For teams in particular, this is such a great way to keep connected, even in a short meeting, or to keep morale up and to see how each other are doing. So one way that I've seen my husband use Zoom is playing games with their team. So this is my husband, Kyle, and he's looking a little wild right now. He's really excited about his new at-home office, which is our kitchen. And he has been using Zoom to play different games with their team to help them stay connected, have fun, keep morale up while in self-isolation. Zoom has a feature like a raise hand feature, which is really, really great when you're playing games because you can keep everyone organized, you can see who raised their hand first and all of that. So it's really easy, super fun. There's also a whiteboard feature, so you can even play Pictionary on Zoom, which is great as well if you do have kids. The next tool is Slack. So Slack is a messaging tool that's been very popular with tech companies for years. I used it at Shopify. It's where I was introduced to it. But it's really becoming more popular with a variety of different businesses and different industries. Slack is an all-in-one web app and mobile app, so you can use it on your phone or your desktop. And it allows teams to break down into different groups or message as a whole on different topics. So when we used it at Shopify, we used it for a variety of different teams because there were so many teams there. And it also allowed us to still have one-to-one conversations Now, you might think, well, I just use something else. I might use Skype or Facebook Messenger. So again, I find it more reliable than Skype. And with Facebook Messenger, if you do use it on desktop, it's connected to Facebook, which is and can be very distracting. So this is why I like Slack. It is its own app, it's its own web app. So it is just a lot easier to use. So now let's look at some tools for customer and client connection. So obviously Zoom. Zoom again is great. If you were offering one-to-one services, Zoom is a really affordable way to continue that online. Zoom also allows you to share screens and present like I am right now. So if you wanted to do a training, a webinar, it's a really great way to do that. You can also show yourself at the same time. I'm hiding today. I just am. But it does allow you to show yourself as well and just be with your clients and customers. Um, it also allows another user to take over control of a person's screen and to navigate the other person's screen from their end. So in my field of work in particular, this is extremely valuable because I offer website training. So me being able to point to and click and take over someone's page allows me to more effectively show people where things are and offer that extra level of support. Zoom also allows you to record sessions and download the recording either to your computer or to the cloud. So you can do that. Now, you can get Zoom for free, like I said, up to 40 minutes for more than two people. And above that, you would need to use a paid plan. So the lowest paid plan is $14.99 per month per host. So right now I'm the host, but if you had multiple people who wanted a Zoom room right now, you would need more um, hosting options. So Zoom is really, really great for that. And the reason why I also really like being able to record to my computer like we are right now is that you can then send this to someone for them to watch later. I do live critiques. So for me, this is extremely valuable. I can just go do a critique using Zoom and send them the screen recording after. So Zoom is very multifaceted. So now we are looking at social media like a tool. So in terms of connection with your customers, you can really use social media in two ways. I see it as you can use it as a tool or you can use it as a way to be friends. So today we're talking about using social media as a tool. So when I say connection, client connection, I'm talking about discovering where your ideal client hangs out online. Where do they collect their information? Where do they connect with you? And then creating a community that is filled with value and information for them, whether it's on your products or something right now that really helps them. It's serving your clients. So it's critical to use social media like a tool, not like that fun thing that you hang out on after hours. And I see it so often that people spend tons and tons of time creating, a really beautiful Instagram page or a Pinterest layout, when their client doesn't use either platform. And then it can become very easy to get sucked into the rabbit hole of Pinterest or Instagram. Um, you know, for me, I know that my clientele gathers information and connects on Facebook, so I created a Facebook group, as you can see in the photo. And this is where I connect with them. This is where I provide value. I share about services, I share updates, and this is where I educate my audience. It doesn't make sense for me to hang out on Pinterest because that's not where my people gather information. Now, for you, this may be another social media channel like Instagram or Pinterest. It might look like your email newsletter, but overall, you just want to ensure that your ideal client is getting your message where they will actually read it, and that they're seeing the value you're providing, and they're understanding that your offers are designed to make their lives better, easier, safer, or more efficient. Um, just seeing in the comments, um, so Zoom is $14.99 US per month. So just keep that in mind with our exchange rate. It is more. So yes, everything's based in US pricing. Everything today I'm going to be talking about is based in US pricing. So now let's look at time management and organization. So these two are probably the biggest two areas where people struggle, whether it's with their business or their day-to-day or their management of their business. So I'm going to share with you briefly some awesome tools for time management, whether you need to do this for project management, organizing, client communications, anything like that. So let's go into Toggle. Toggle is amazing. It is a time tracking software that is free to use. It allows you to track time spent on different projects for different clients, for employees to track their time, contractors, anything like that. I use Toggle essentially anytime I'm doing anything hourly. If I'm working on a new sort of service, I will see how long something takes me to see how to price it properly. Um, that is what I love Toggle for. Like I said, I primarily work with artisans, so I highly recommend if you are a maker to use Toggle and to see how long things actually take you, to re-examine, what you're charging, what your effectiveness is, and all of that. Toggle is also great if you're doing hourly work for someone. So you can then take a PDF or a CSV that will create a spreadsheet that you can then give to the person you're working for. So Toggle is awesome. The next is ClickUp. So ClickUp is for project management. I recommend ClickUp to everybody. It's really, really simple. ClickUp is super similar to Asana, but every single tool that you need is available for free. And also, unlike Asana, it allows you to put in dates when projects or timelines start as well as end. So Asana only lets you put in when something ends, not when it starts. So you can do a lot of future planning. So it's also similar to Trello. So if you use Trello, it's similar because it also has board views, it has a calendar view, and list views. So depending on how you like to visually lay out your projects or tasks, it has you covered. And I use ClickUp to just schedule my life. I literally schedule in housework, cleaning, things like that, because it pops up in my calendar and it reminds me, and ClickUp is just great. So you can actually create a project on your life and the things that you're not doing but you want to do, because ClickUp will remind you, which is awesome. The next is Google Drive. So Google Drive is a part of the Google suite of products. It allows you to share, store, and edit multiple folders, presentations, documents, and files easily and quickly within an organization. So if you're short on computer space, this is a really easy and simple way to share information, not just with your team, but with clients. You can give certain people access and revoke access with as little as a click of a button. So I really highly recommend Google's suite of products to take your business to another level. One of my favorite things about their products is that I can work offline. So if I was traveling, if I was on a plane, which I can't do for a while, I like to work on things offline while I'm flying. So it's a huge bonus. And lastly, I'm sharing with you Text Expander. Text Expander is an amazing little tool. It is a paid tool. It's $3.33 US a month per user. So I use it at Shopify because we would say the same things over and over and over and over. So essentially what Text Expander does is you type in what you want to say. So you can see, this is one of my emails that I send out to clients. And then essentially you attach a shortcut to it. So when you type that shortcut, Text Expander expands what you really want to say, and that whole message goes there instead of you repeating the same thing over and over and over. So I say if you have customers, Text Expander is worth the price tag, because you know that you're going to be repeating things over and over and over. So if you want to save time, definitely look into Text Expander. And then I was going to talk about Grammarly briefly. There is You can use Grammarly for free, and it also has a Google Chrome extension, so you can use it anywhere. It will edit your Facebook posts. It will edit everything. Mine stopped working when I was putting this together, so I couldn't grab a screenshot of it, but Grammarly is awesome. All right, so now we're going to move on to platforms. So we've just looked at all these different tools. There's so many options out there. Those are the ones that I use every single day. But if you're here, you are probably most curious about how to start selling online. So maybe you already use Zoom for one-to-one services, but right now to get your payment, you're using a PayPal link, and maybe you don't currently have a website. So this next section will show you a few different options for getting online from using, a marketplace type platform or building your own e-commerce platform. So I'm obviously a huge advocate for Shopify, but I don't believe Shopify is right for everyone. So we're also going to cover a whole avenue of options. So first, I want to cover marketplace platforms. You may not recognize the name marketplace platform right off the bat, but I guarantee that you do know the most popular marketplace platforms. So number one is Amazon. Amazon is a marketplace platform. There's Etsy, and Facebook Marketplace is a new one. However, it's really important to realize the difference between a marketplace platform and an e-commerce platform. So we're going to cover both. So on the right-hand side here, you can see I've written out a few of the common complaints that I've heard about marketplaces. I personally used to sell on Etsy, so I do have personal experience with them, but I really just want to lay everything out. So Etsy and Amazon specifically are their own beasts. They are not connected to a social media channel like Facebook Marketplace, so I'm going to separate them for now, and then I'll go over Facebook Marketplace last since it's really in its own category. So Etsy and Amazon both allow you to list your products for a fee per listing. Amazon charges different fees depending on how much you sell. Amazon also has a monthly fee for using their platform, and also Etsy Plus has a monthly fee. So that is just something to consider when you're looking at pricing things out for moving your business online. Another downside of marketplace platforms is that when someone searches for your product inside of their platform, first you're going to get ads, and then you're going to have your direct competition. So your store may come up, but surrounding it is going to be either your other listings or other people's listings. So you are competing, and you're also going to need to learn how to stand out inside of each platform. Each platform has its own algorithm. So learning that algorithm is usually a skill inside of itself. For Etsy and Amazon, both are very highly saturated marketplaces, which means on top of standing out and learning the algorithm, you're competing amongst thousands of other sellers who sell the exact same thing as you. So you just have to keep that in mind. The upside of choosing a marketplace is if you are just starting out, Etsy does drive their traffic to Etsy.com for you, for example, and everyone knows Amazon is a place to buy products online. Everyone knows these platforms. So, you are a vendor in a stall inside of their marketplace, and you do have the chance to get found if you put in the work. So for me personally, Etsy and Amazon are not worth it, but I know that I personally know tons of sellers who have found success on these channels. Now, whether or not that's related to when they originally signed up or not is up for debate. Now, Facebook Marketplace is another option. However, if you are a service-based business, you cannot use it. So do keep that in mind if you're service-based. For you product-based businesses, Marketplace is worth checking out. You do want to make sure to check out their own terms of service. They do have restricted products as well. But if you serve primarily a local market, Facebook Marketplace may be something to check out. If you do serve a global market, since Facebook Marketplace is for local selling, it might not be the best option. But if you do sell locally, it is something to look into. All right, e-commerce platforms. So I'm going to cover WooCommerce and Shopify. These are the platforms that I hang out with on the daily. Now, primarily, I work with Shopify, but I'm going to break down how they compare, their pricing, and then at the end, like I said, we're going to cover some case studies on which businesses should use which. Um, so, what makes an e commerce platform unique from any other website platform? So, an e commerce platform is designed purely for selling. That's it. So this means other platforms like WordPress, Squarespace, Wix, and Weebly do not fall in this category because they were not designed for selling. Even WooCommerce is not technically an e-commerce platform, but it is the next biggest competitor and comparable to Shopify. So that's why I've added it in here. It's probably the one you've heard about the most. So let's look at 3 critical aspects when choosing an e-commerce solution. We're going to look at the price, the features, and the options, and as well the support. Then we're going to look at what you should choose. So a lot of information here. So I'm going to just go through and break it down for you. So on average, Shopify is $29 a month for their basic online store, which includes a website, plus their selling technology. Now, if you don't know what Shopify is an e-commerce platform and it's a technology. So you can use their technology on other platforms. So you could use Shopify's technology on a WordPress website and you can use it on their own e-commerce platform. So I will touch on why that is important at the end of this section. Now, Shopify subscriptions range anywhere from $29 to $299 a month. If you make over 300,000 US dollars on your Shopify website, you are eligible for something called Shopify Plus, which is catered to your needs. So I didn't include it here because it's a very specific seller. Themes range from $180 to free. You can get a free theme. Apps, which are plugins, if you're used to WordPress, are anywhere from free to $100+ a month, depending on what you need. So out of the people who I work with, I went through about 50 different stores and I averaged out their monthly cost, and they were about $47 a month, and that's 47 US dollars per month. This does include hosting and an SSL certificate inside of that monthly fee. Now, if we look at WooCommerce, on the other hand, it is free to use. It is a WordPress plugin, which means it only works on WordPress websites. So although it is free to use, it does not come with things like a payment processor, shipping options, website hosting, SSL certificates, and other essential pieces to running a functional website while selling online. So, for example, hosting it ranges greatly. So you want to look for hosting that is affordable but is also going to give you enough space. An SSL certificate is absolutely imperative. Essentially, an SSL certificate is a security certificate that says that your website is protected, which is very critical when you're trying to sell online because you will be dealing with credit card payment processing and confidential information. They do have different themes. You can get free themes. However, they do contain backlinks and you don't have support with them. And then paid themes range anywhere from $50 and up. Different plugins, which are the same as apps on Shopify, are anywhere from $25 to $89 a month, or they have one-time fees. And then add-ons and extensions range from $29 to $79 a month. So Stripe, which is a credit card processor, pre-processed payment processors, tax add-ons, etc., cost a varying amount. So, it really varies. I couldn't really give you an average for WooCommerce because it really does vary depending on who you use. If you want something that is all in one, that is much more simple, I definitely recommend Shopify. It comes with everything you need to start selling today, and it's $29 a month. However, if you're sitting there and you're like, I already have a WordPress website, I don't want to move over, you can use Shopify's selling technology for $9 a month. So that is a very affordable option to quickly add online selling to an already existing WordPress website. If you're sitting there and you're like, I have Squarespace, I have Wix, I have Weebly, I have whatever, you can add Shopify's e-commerce, or sorry, their selling technology for $9 a month. So look into Shopify Lite, Lite. That would be what you would be looking for. Now, in terms of main features, options, and support, here are some pros and cons for both and why this matters for different businesses. So overall, uh, Shopify really is that one-stop shop for shopping. Basically, you can sell in person and online for $29 a month. Shopify has a point of sale system that is included in that monthly fee as well. Um, there are additional fees if you want retail hardware, but they really do include a lot for um, anyone who's just trying to start out, basically. They also right now currently are trying to help out more merchants by offering free gift cards on all plans, as well as they've extended their 14-day trial to 90 days. So definitely jump on that. It's a great thing to check out right now. And they also offer free 24/7 support 365 days a year. So they are working right now. They have been set up for remote work for years. So definitely check that out. Some major cons for Shopify is their shipping settings are very limited, advanced plugins. So if you need something really specific for your website, or you want something very specific built into the store, such as a membership platform, a forum, something like that, I wouldn't recommend Shopify. For WooCommerce, there's tons of customization options, including plugins and themes. You can edit the heck out of a WordPress website. Some cons: it can be too much or too slow. The layout behind the scenes, the admin, is not as user-friendly as Shopify and has a larger learning curve, and things need to be manually updated. So just consider, if you're not someone who really likes maintenance, like me, for example, I find WordPress extremely frustrating. So do keep that in mind. As well, support is only available through a ticket request, so it's not immediate like Shopify. Now, visually, I'm a very visual person. So from everything that we just went over, with all that information in the background, I wanted to give you a quick visual of what these different, platforms look like. So let's consider that this is Amazon, lots of people selling lots of different things, a very big marketplace. Um, you know, there's a lot going on compared to, we've got Etsy here. So fewer people, more unique. You can cater it more towards your brand, really make yourself stand out, but there's still quite a bit of competition versus we have something like an online store. So this is your boutique online where your brand gets to live and thrive and survive. And you control the look, the layout, and really your competition is a different level. It's you're not in a marketplace. So your direct competition is through Google. So let's look at creating a plan of action, because creating a plan of action right now is critical. So right now you have a large list of tools, you have platform options, and you have an understanding of why online selling is a critical aspect to implement into your business quickly. So this is what I want you to do right now. If you have pen and paper in front of you, if you have, Google Docs open in front of you, I want you to write down tools, platforms, my offers and products or services, and then how these serve people right now. I want you to brainstorm how these products and offers will serve your customers in this current time. Now, I can also send this slide as well later if you don't get this written down in time. Without this information, it'll be very hard to take next steps. So in just a moment, we're going to go over brainstorming offers and products and serving like crazy and creatively. But you need to ask yourself, for each of your offers, can you still offer your product or service? Be sure to check out the regulations right now to ensure that you can continue to sell your products or services safely. This may look like implementing a tool to continue offering a one-to-one service or opening an online store to continue selling a product. If yes, that's great. But if not, then let's discuss some other action steps we can take. Right now you're probably hearing the word pivot, pivot, pivot all over the place, but really, can you pivot a current offering? Can you pivot something that you do or sell right now? Can you get creative with something that you already offer, or can you create a new solution to a problem for your audience? These are the things that I invite you to brainstorm inside of your action plan and through utilizing new tools. I also invite you to look at how you or your company can be a leader in your industry or your community. You know, right now I've seen so many businesses giving back like no other time. Right now is the time to give, to connect, and to show up as that leader. By providing insane amounts of value, people will remember you. They'll remember your business. So I wanted to just give you a couple local examples, local-ish, they're in Toronto, of ways that companies are doing this right now. So thinking outside of the box, while you're brainstorming ways to still serve your audience, create new offers and deliver them, look at ways that you can also stay in front of your current audience if you can't pivot, whether you can pivot or not. But Ripley's Aquarium, for example, is a really great example of this. Obviously they're not open to the public, so they have made their Shark Cam a feature on their website to keep people entertained and very much aware that the aquarium is still full of fun things to look at. So, they're really creating something that people are talking about. I've seen this in so many blogs. Um, and it's a really great way to just help people keep their kids entertained right now. Now, this next one is a video, so I'm hoping this loads for us. But repurpose content and make it impactful. So Canada's Wonderland has always had these videos of their roller coasters on YouTube. This roller coaster makes me feel sick. But to give kids something new to do right now while in isolation, they've added a whole bunch of them with steps on how to take a roller coaster ride right in your living room. You know, this roller coaster is my nightmare. I would never go on it in real life, but I have no problem doing it from my living room. And it's so fun and simple, and it just makes people feel like they're getting out of their house. It's already content that they've created, so it's just repurposing it and make people feel like they're at the park, even though they can't go there right now. So let's look at some case studies. Right now you might be sitting there and you're not certain if you can pivot or how to get creative or how to stand up as a leader right now. So I've created a few different case studies. So for each of these, we're going to look at very different business models in different industries and situations that I have personally seen in the past 2 weeks. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the tools and options that these businesses could implement today based on everything that we've talked about. So let's meet Hannah. Hannah is a nutritionist. She was working out of a physiotherapy office. She was offering one-to-one meetings in person, and she creates meal plans for her clients. So this is what Hannah could do today based on everything we talked about. The first thing that Hannah should do is create an online store right away so that she can continue to sell her services and her meal plans. I would ask her to add a booking app to her website so that, her time is still being managed properly and she's not overworking herself. She could utilize Zoom to continue to offer one-to-one services and utilize something like Google Drive to share meal plans with clients at no cost to her. Number two, so this is Casey. Casey has her own store in downtown Toronto and she just opened in January. She specifically sells local designers clothing out of her store. So what I would recommend for her is to create an online store right away, because she can still ship out her products following regulations. Utilizing social media like a tool to get the word out about her products, utilize those designers that she's partnered with, and have them share the online store, so that, it's not just her doing all of the work. She's really building a team. Utilize Zoom to have conversations with them, and continue to ship products from her store or her home, if her insurance allows, of course. But really being safe and continuing to sell her products. So this is Dave. Dave is a real person. This is not a stock photo. Dave is a real woodworker. He worked from his home shop and he works there now. He creates everything from wooden utensils to wooden dining room tables, and he has a really large social media following. So for him, I would have him create an online store through WooCommerce. And the reason I would do that is because he can set up his own shipping for those very different products that he sells, and ensures that, he's not paying a ton in shipping. I would also ask him to create videos that showcase that he's still working with tips and tricks, and then that could lead to a paid masterclass offer, because people right now are looking for something to do, and if he can utilize those skills, I think that is such an awesome way to do it. I'd also have him utilize ClickUp to manage his ongoing projects. So those are just 3 very broad examples from a service provider, a product-based business with a storefront, and a handmade product provider who works from home. So if you wanted to discuss a personalized action plan for your business, you're of course welcome to join me. I know there's lots of men in here as well, but my group is called Powerhouse Female Entrepreneurs. Men, of course, are welcome to join. I have lots of men in there. And you can email me at melissa@gurusforyou.com. I'm happy to chat about how to build your website, how to get online, how to brainstorm ideas, and really just continue to serve your audience. I would say, all in all, these last few weeks, I have personally seen more genuine connection amongst the highest levels of uncertainty than I've definitely ever seen. I've seen people offering painting lessons, jamming on Zoom, and then inviting the musically uninclined to join and enjoy. And, just doing things like this, connecting with people of all different backgrounds to discuss their businesses. I have no doubt that each and every one of you can and will discover how to show up and be the leaders that you are right now, and continue to sell your products and services to the people who need them. And last thing I want to add is to please take care of yourself and your family, because without you, there is potentially no business. So stay safe, stay inside if you can, and no matter what you take on, any action is a huge action. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here, and have an awesome rest of your day.